So look, when it comes to running, a lot of focus is on actually running, and for good reason, because for us to get better at running, we need to run. However, there's a lot more that we need to focus on, or take a more holistic approach when it comes to improving running performance. And I just made this slide to kind of illustrate some of the things that we should be doing or looking out for, or trying to improve at least. So look, when it comes to running, I focus on four main pillars, five essentially, really, with running included, but four other pillars. And what they are rest and recovery, as you can see here, strength and conditioning, nutrition, and then mobility. And I'm going to break down why each of these pillars are important. So on rest and recovery, so when we run, especially in a marathon training block, we put our body under serious strain, and it can lead to burnout, high levels of stress, both physically and mentally. If we don't have the proper amount of recovery, we are just going to hit a wall. We're going to die out. And we're not going to make any progress as well, because our HRV will be low, our VO2 will drop, and our performance will just suffer. So recovery is going to be massively important to improving our running performance. And recovery doesn't have to be ice baths, compression boots, all the fancy stuff. The best recovery you can get is sleep and good nutrition. And that brings me on then to kind of the second pillar here, which is nutrition. And this plays a vital role in our running performance. So having the right amount of carbs and the right carbs as well, and before we run, will massively improve our running performance. Having adequate sources of protein afterwards will improve recovery times, will improve our muscle mass, will actually decrease the rate that we lose muscle on as well, which will be vitally important. And getting the right micronutrients in, our vitamins, our minerals, will help build up our immune system and our body as well, to combat some of the stress that we face when we run. And build up our immune system too. Strength and conditioning over here. Strength and conditioning will make us a lot more resilient to injury, but will also improve our running performance. Studies have shown that this can improve our running performance by 10%. So if you run a 3-hour marathon and you have a really good strength and conditioning block, you could drop it down by 18 minutes and you'll be running 2:42 marathon. And then finally we have our mobility here. And mobility is super important because again it's going to reduce the risk of injury, but will also increase our running performance too, where it's going to lead to flushing out the lactic acid in our bodies. It'll lead to relieving tight and sore muscles. It will also lead to improving and stretching our tendons as well, which are vitally important when it comes to running, as that's what leads to the explosiveness. So look, when it comes to running, try take a more holistic approach and focus on all pillars that you see here, as opposed to just running. And I put this into practice, and my running game has improved so much from this. So hopefully you find some value in this. Hopefully you implement some of the lessons here, and you find benefit in it too. Any questions on this, let me know. More than happy to help.